Here it goes. Hey guys! Can you guys see us? Streamlabs is like trying to not love me. It's saboteur. Saboteur, Streamlabs, saboteur. Hey Farmstead, how are you? Hey Margie, how are you? Yay, you can see.
It worked.
Streamlabs doesn't really like to talk to YouTube a little bit, so I think I'm going to redo Streamlabs. I saw you just posted a video, Farmstead. I was going to go check it out for your chicken coop editions. We are doing well today. It was my Friday, so I've got the rest of the week off, which is fantastic. So I've got that going. How was your day? Did you have a good day?
Pretty good. We're swapping days off, so I've got Monday through Wednesday off next week. So trying to catch up with little things to wrap up before fall, I think. You know.
Yeah, we're just so busy right now. It's been a little bit crazy. And the whole filming for YouTube and trying to be proactive and productive kind of, I'm getting better at it to where like I can film and not get too much in his way or have to stop and start too often. But like, yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, like trying to be all artistic when you're filming and actually doing the job at hand. So that it's been a little bit different.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, everybody I've been watching lately, Farmstead, is StreamYard. So maybe I will have to do that. I think it's just I'm kind of a nerd a little bit, and I like watching people play games on Twitch, and they always talk about Streamlabs. So I'm like, oh, Streamlabs, let's do Streamlabs. So it might be for people that are not so country internet-ish as us, but yeah. Filming is weird. Filming is really weird. I often feel like I don't come across as very genuine. And then other times I'm like, that was too real. Gotta pull it back. That was too much me. They won't like that. So yeah, filming is really, really weird. So how are you guys doing out there? What do you got going on, Margie? Thanks for checking out all the videos here lately. I appreciate that, Miss Margie. It's always nice to see someone go through and watch from like the very start to where we're at now, because sometimes when I even go back and look at some of the videos, because I get curious and want to torture myself a little bit on how self-conscious we were, it's really nice to understand where someone started and where they're at right now. So I do really appreciate that.
It's fun watching that journey.
Yeah, Mobile Prison Live stream is awesome. Oh no. Yeah, so like right now what I've got going on with Streamlabs is I've got my iPad right here. I'm looking at you guys on my iPad, and then I've got my laptop right here. And the Streamlabs on my iPad is supposed to talk to YouTube and pull up like the actual events that we have. That's why it's important for me to schedule them so I can actually pick it and not have to go through like all of the key codes and stuff that it wants you to copy and paste. So it's been really weird, a learning curve. I don't think I like it. Probably going to go to StreamYard, but it is what it is. So that's going to have to be me doing more like YouTube videos, supporting other YouTubers like I did all day today. Because I worked a lot at work, but I listened a lot to a lot of videos today too. So listened. Oh,
Margie.
oh.
Checked them all out and is all caught up now.
But most are loving. Oh. I feel like my goats like me sometimes. And then there are other times where I know they're doing what they're doing out of spite because they know I don't want them to do it, or because I'm either in... It's like they know if I come in the barn in business clothes or clothes that would suggest I'm going to church or work, then that means that all heck has to break loose and they're going to have like watery cough farts or to pee on me or poop near me or something. It's crazy. But I like to think that they love me. I put enough money into them, they better love me.
Speaking of out of spite, we got a buck that's been getting out.
Yeah, I have a buck that keeps pulling a Houdini, and he's a related buck to some of my does.
And we got some of the does coming down to visit, so
yeah, they're all.
We'll have to figure that out quick.
They're a little thirsty. Mm-hmm. They're all a little thirsty out there. So, yeah, learning curves are the worst. Hey, Off Kilter. Studying for a test, so I can't hear, but I'm here and playing for some. Well,
thanks
thank
for
you.
The support.
Thanks, Haas. Appreciate it. Yeah, he got out 3 times today.
Yeah.
And my thirsty ladies keep lining up along the gate. And he's related to quite a few of those thirsty ladies. So
we've got an idea where he's getting out, but
yeah, I think we know where he's getting out, but the fact of the matter is I've been kind of irresponsible and kept a related buck that's related to a lot of my does. And if he gets in, it's a major problem because he's not going to choose based on family trees. He's just going to choose on whoever's ready.
They typically don't.
So. Yeah, they really don't, which is...
Plus we have one buck we just bought that we really want to exploit lines in our
Yeah, because with our luck that we've been having this year, I know the moment we start to breed, he's going to end up sick or he's going to cost me thousands of dollars in a vet bill. So I really need him to pump his genetics into my herd quickly and in a hurry. So, which he's ready to do. Like, that's probably why that poor little buck keeps getting out. He thinks Flynn is Flu's girlfriend right now, and he probably doesn't like that.
Yeah,
he probably doesn't like that. So Farmstead, so I am curious, and it may be possible. Is there a way to make subtitles available on lives? Maybe Streamlabs has. You know what? I do not know that, but I've been looking into subtitles more so for my videos because I've done some reading and I've had some suggestions that I might want to do subtitles. So if people are like in a household like ours where it gets ridiculously crazy and excitable sometimes and you're actually trying to watch something from start to finish, you don't have to turn up the volume so loud. But I don't know if we can, Farmstead, but I would hope that Streamlabs does have that. Margie, love all the videos. Wish I had land for some goats. Well, I will say though, like Nigerian dwarfs leave a very small footprint, and I don't mean like footprint in the sand. I mean like they don't really require too much room or too much food, and that's why we switched them. We used to have big boar goats, the big market goats for meat, and I could pour my life savings into feed and them still look like old nags out there. Even with good genetics, coming back with
these guys can just stay on pasture and they look
they look obese right now, and I haven't fed them grain, some of them since I quit milking them in July. So
and we had
crazy.
30 on the pasture one time, and they couldn't keep up with the pasture even then, so they, like you said, have a lot smaller footprint.
They do. Farmstead, I should trade him.
Did you have him up for sale for a bit?
No, I didn't. But his dam, like as a first time freshener. So like with this group of goats, they all came to me like as 3 and 4 year olds that had never been bred. And his mother, for being like a 4-year-old first time freshener, I was really impressed with her capaciousness and her udder, which for those of us not versed in dairy, like the capaciousness in an udder, she just had a lot of milk. She has nice large teats that are placed well. She's really easy to milk, nice soft udder that milks all the way out. She's not like real meaty or glandular in her udder. And I wanted to pass that on to some of my weaker does. And he's got blue eyes, so he's super handsome. And I know I shouldn't be breeding for blue eyes, but they sure do make them really pretty. So I've been trying to hold on to him for that reason. But even if I breed him, on the schedule right now, he's only getting 3 girls out of like 12. So he's just getting minimal. So I think he might be better off going somewhere else because Flu's dam and sire, just it doesn't matter how good I think my doe is. I know that those lines he's coming from are far superior. So yeah, you don't do goats or breeding. That's probably for the better, honestly. Breeding can get kind of hairy. We keep saying like when our daughter's done with 4-H that we're going to just have fun animals, which I love all of my animals now. They're all fun to me, but when you're actually trying to be competitive for 4-H or shows or whatever, or actually just trying to even better your breed and make a more adequate and thrifty milker for whoever wants a home milker that can actually milk enough to do what they need it to do for their family, then it kind of does take the fun out of it, and you worry to death when they get sick because you've got such an investment in the animal. Like, it's not, oh, I'm so sad because my pet died. It's like, I am so sad that my pet died, and it really hurt my pocketbook a lot, and I didn't get a return on it. So I hate looking at it like that because that makes us...
It just adds to the stress.
It does. It really takes away from it.
The monetary value.
It really does do. It's fine if it's quiet in the house, but I have a hearing processing. Okay. I'm sorry, Farmstead. I'll try to get us some... Is your smoke detector chirping? Yes, it's been chirping for a week.
We replaced one battery, and then the next one started chirping. Just this.
We've just gotten really used to it now. We're like it's ambient noise.
We had our older Australian Shepherd. She used to shake when that happened, so we'd rush to get a battery.
Used to.
Actually, I was planning to get a battery tonight, but then we ran out and ended up getting tied up with some other tasks. So definitely on the docket still.
Yeah, because I called him earlier. I was on break, and I kept hearing that in the background. And I was like, "Dang, that's annoying." But then when you're here long enough, it just blends. So I'm trying to get that fixed. Yeah, my chickens. I hate to say this, Farmstead, but like with my chickens, I let nature take over out there because I've pulled from enough different hatcheries and different sources that. I'm like, well, if I end up with a chicken that's got 3 heads, then I guess...
Well, we had that one hen that we thought was going to hatch, and she waited till, what, like 4 days before...
Yeah, I was going to share that with you guys, but, like, I just... Yeah. I was waiting for, like, a fall surprise of baby chicks, and then she waited 4 days before they were supposed to hatch. She's basically supposed to be going into a lockdown phase, like, for setting and brooding, and abandon all of them on a very cold night, so those eggs are... useless. Can't eat them, obviously. No. But, yeah. Don't worry too much for creating a combo. Oh. Thank you, Farmstead. Yeah, we probably will unplug that effort. Yeah, she used to shake, like, uncontrollably shake. And I used to feel so bad for her, but she eventually got used to it. She's like my Beena.
Yeah. Oh,
there
from
you
Canada.
go.
Hello.
Hey, from Ontario, Canada. So, Countryside Acres Homestead. What is the weather like in Ontario? Because right now here, it's been really, really dry. We've got a little bit of rain, and our temperatures are dropping. And
we needed to rain. We were in actually a fire ban because it was so dry here.
I think we're still in a burn ban right now.
Yeah, we still are, but at least we got some rain the other day, so that helped.
Yeah, it definitely has helped. We recently picked up some ceramic eggs to try to bring our layers. Yeah, willful minis, that's tough. It really is tough. And if I let mine out, I still have like a few that wanted to have an Easter egg hunt every single day. Every single day. Yeah, every single day. But, I mean, at this point, they feed my cats and my dogs. And probably snakes, too, because they don't want to lay in the same place. I mean, sometimes I think my turkey is better about laying in the same place than my chickens ever will be.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And speaking of our turkeys have taken an extreme disliking to our miniature Australian Shepherd, Django. Like, corner him up on the deck.
Yeah. I was home today, and I saw him booking across the yard and jump up on the deck against the back door. And I look over, and he's got his butt just pressed up against the door, like just staring out there. And I look, and the chickens were just slowly stalking up to him. Looked like Jurassic Park or something. These two big birds just slowly creeping up on him.
Like, hold on.
But he tortures a lot of little animals. Like he barks and likes to jump around them. He's sort of like a cat. He has like a predator
Really,
instinct.
if he just ignored them,
paws at things,
then
and just
they wouldn't be interested in him. But if he catches them like bowing up on him, he'll run back. He'll run at them and snap. And
it's annoying.
Yeah, he's an annoying animal. I hate to say that. I love my puppers, Django, but he's an annoying animal that I love.
Yeah.
That's like
he's a good lap dog. That's about it.
I don't even think he's a good lap dog. His breath always smells like dead animals. But I love him still. Still love him, dead breath and all. Oh, we are too. No rain in months.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
How is your air quality out there, Farmstead? Have you guys got better air going on out there yet?
Yeah, I think that's caused everything around here just to turn suddenly brown. We were talking about that on the drive to pick up
Yeah.
our daughter. We went through a bunch of cornfields and like everything's like browned in the last week or so. We got leaves changing, soybeans.
We talked about it too close to the soybeans that neighbor us, and they're all brown now.
Yeah.
But I mean, after like our coyote issue that we had, I'm really ready for those soybeans to be gone. But I know that that farmer, that's like his last field that he plants in this area because he has a lot of fields in this surrounding area. So it'll be a while before he gets to us. But like, I just want that open area too because I'm sick of coyotes being able to just walk up to my fence and then slink off in the soybeans and I lose them in it. So what? Oh. Been there we have, but they're in small space, so we end up. Oh yeah, I know how that goes. Oh, we did, and then we got a warning today for. Oh no, Farmstead, that is just terrible. We're in the Hoosier State, in the great state of Indiana. Yep. Fields of corn and soybean as far as the eye can see.
East Central Indiana.
East Central Indiana, yeah. We're like right on the Ohio line, so. I work in Ohio. It's like 10 minutes of a drive for me to get to Ohio. So I work over in Ohio. Where their governor's crazy, but that's fine. We don't need to get into politics here. I'm sorry.
You brought it up.
I brought it up and I was thinking all day, I'm like, no politics ever in your lives. And I was the first one to bring it up, so. Yeah, we're in the Hoosier State, so harvest time right now. Bow season opens up for deer harvesting tomorrow. So your girl's going to be out in a deer stand tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, weather permitting, because if it rains, it's not bad. If it's super blustery and super windy, then probably there's no point in going out. It'll just give away my position. So I feel so like military to give away my position. Take out a stealth mode, so. Yeah, I saw a coyote yesterday or the day before. I don't mind them because they eat the rodents and stuff. Apparently, plenty of rodents. They leave my animals alone. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think they would leave, like, our meat goats alone. Yeah. But those miniature goats, they probably just are like, ooh, nice and tender.
If you have the same issue we have, too, with coy dogs, so them breeding with domestic dogs sometimes. I know the first coyote we saw when we first moved out here was probably the size of a German Shepherd, wasn't it?
And it was not afraid of me. It was going to eat our dog. Yeah. It had killed 13 chickens, just killed them and left them. Probably took some and buried them off if it inherited any of the coyote traits. And then had the dog cornered up against our house. And I came out and was like doing the whole clapping and screaming and waving the hands, make yourself look big. And it was still coming like right at me. Luckily, this one had enough sense to grab a firearm before coming out and fired a round off at him to scare him off.
Yeah.
And we had once where my daughter was playing like right outside my window over here, and I was outside and looked, and there was a coyote just making a beeline for her and one of the kittens that she was playing with before we had everything fenced in. So our coyotes out here are they can be skittish, but for the most part they're not. Like even the one that we had back in, what was that, May?
Yeah.
Like, it was not afraid of me. I ran out there, did the whole, like, make yourself look big real loud and claim your territory. Nope, it just looked at me like, yeah, okay.
It came back multiple times even after
4 times. The llama chased it off. I chased it off. He chased it off and then finally came out with a gun. And, yeah. We haven't lost anything besides a chicken to coyotes.
Yeah.
But I don't... Yeah, I'm going to knock on wood because, like, I can't even fathom losing one of my goats to a coyote. And I'm okay with coexisting with wildlife, 100%. Like, as long as it doesn't bother me and mine, I won't bother it and theirs. But, yeah, they're not skittish out here at all. Countryside out here in Oregon. Yeah, if you live out in the middle of nowhere, that's probably... We're not too far outside of a small town, and especially just being bred in with domesticated dogs, it's just...
They lose that
they're not afraid.
Instinct, yeah.
They're not. I mean, I think with, like, June and Django, they would be fine, but, like, my Australian Shepherd was just...
Yeah, and part of that, too, is because, I mean, we're pretty rural, of course, being on a farm, but like there's some big farms and they just let their dogs sort of roam free.
Yeah.
So they go in the heat, of course, and
Yeah, and they're
Next
not
one.
choosy either.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
when they're thirsty, they're thirsty. Super likely next. They don't give a lot of crap about you. I wish mine didn't give a crap about me. I'm a weenie bleeding heart.
You're a pretty big
Oh,
bleeding heart too.
yeah,
Until they
I
get
feel bad.
hurt one of her goats, then
Yeah, and
it's
then
all
it's
over.
then we're gonna have a
Game
bloodlust.
over at
Yeah,
that point.
bloodlust sets in. Yes, it's a big deal for sure. I'm thankful that I haven't lost anything to them because I sure yeah, they're really pretty. Like I will say, we've seen them a lot in the deer stands. I'm not saying that if they didn't come within range that I wouldn't take care of, because they're considered a nuisance here. Like there is no season for coyotes in this area. They are considered a nuisance. Their population has exploded in the area. But we coexist as long as we can. And no, we won't go there. Just because, like, as a hunter or a conservationist, like, we worry about a lot more about, like, our deer populations here, and coyotes really, really, really impact our deer populations. Daughter's over here making faces.
For Django.
It does have a limit, Farmstead, you're right. Did I close down the garden? You know, I kind of asked around on some forums for Zone 5B for fall gardens, and a lot of them were said either garlic and onions for next year or cold boxes. I have stuff to make a cold box, but my motivation and time does not match the materials at hand, so I have officially given up on my garden. I'm going to let my jalapenos go back to the soil and volunteer like they did last year. Hopefully they will. I only started like 8 of my jalapeno plants, and that box is completely full of jalapeno plants. So it's been kind of crazy. Yeah, Tasha, my smoke detector is beeping.
I just took care of it.
My husband said I just took care of it. He went and unplugged it. Oh, hey, Hen Dogs Homestead. I'm guessing that's Nicole. Thanks for joining us. Coyotes are everywhere. You know.
It's funny because, like, when we first moved out, we had talked about before, we saw a couple, and then we didn't see them for a while, and basically the rabbit population picked up. We saw turkeys and everything like that. So from what I've heard, it's always goes in a cycle. You know, it's predators for a while, then prey, back to predators. So
Yeah.
coyotes are everywhere. They're howling here all night.
Yeah.
We hear them sometimes,
Yeah, we hear
especially when they
'em.
have pups. You can hear them nipping and yapping.
Springtime, it's really, really crazy. Springtime and about midsummer, when their pups are coming out of their dens and they're actually actively teaching them how to hunt, it gets crazy here. That's when you start watching the pet population in our area go down. That's when you start seeing a lot more. My cat is missing, my dog is missing, and anybody that knows anything about the area and when coyotes are a problem knows, well, odds are it probably succumbed to the food chain. So, the other thing I learned is that when a coyote is missing from the pack, they start breeding immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that does not surprise me. I thought that wolves were much the same because they depend on the pack for survival. If one's down, I mean, it really impacts. And it impacts our ecology here. Like, we have an abundance of rabbit and turkey and just about everything you can think of. We even had like a lot of fawn this year in our backyard that would just wander in on almost a daily basis. So whenever our prey in the area starts going up, we know we're going to probably start having problems with coyotes. And sure enough, this is the first year since we put up a fence and got a guardian that we have seen coyotes. We have seen coyotes. They're beautiful, and they are probably like the most resilient survivors in nature that you will find. Like 100% respect that animal, but 100% abhor them when they come into my goat pen and make me worry about my babies. They make me worry about my babies a lot. Mine will start screaming if I don't change the baby.
Yeah, our house is pretty new, so we have one. We have like 5 or 6 in the first floor.
Yeah.
I feel like every couple months we have a battery chirping somewhere.
We have like a cluster down towards like where the bedrooms are, so we're like all standing there looking up at the ceilings, trying to figure out which one is chirping. But yeah. Oh no, willful minis, you've been hearing them every night there too.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hopefully they don't bother you.
Yeah.
It's sort of cool to listen to.
They're nice to listen to. Really eerie when they're like super close, but
I think my favorite thing, she always calls it out when they start, is the cheepers, the little frogs.
the peepers, in the
that's what you call
spring, the
them.
peepers.
Yeah, she always likes when
Spring
she hears those
peepers,
at
yeah.
night. We sit out and listen to those.
Yeah.
We got some small ponds, farm ponds around us, and
Yeah.
you can hear them.
You can hear them, and then we have quite a few owls.
Mm-hmm.
I think based off of calls, we've heard great grays, bards, great horns, eastern screech owls, and barn owls. Now I know we have a whole host of other nocturnal birds, but those are the ones like based off of the calls and YouTube. Trying to figure out what calls are what. We actually have quite a few nighttime birds of prey, which means we have to close up our chickens every single night.
Yeah.
Every single night, but. Yeah, so what's a project you got to do before winter? Oh, God, what's
We got
not
turn to garden still.
Yeah, I really need to do like a fall clean out of our stalls because goat compost is like the best because it's cool. Cold compost, it can go straight into a garden. But now's a really good time too, like now with our miniature donkey, to pick up whatever droppings she's left for us. And a winter's time should be enough for it to cool down to be effective in next year's garden. And yeah, we've got to turn that.
We did a lot of brush clearing
Yeah.
in the fall too. Makes it a little bit easier with the leaves falling. To get into like the honeysuckle stuff because it's so bushy when you try to get in there.
The honeysuckle's out of control here.
Plus, also, if we get it with still leaves on it, we give it to the goats. They like to eat the forage it.
Yeah, they do. They do like the forage a lot.
that,
And
so-
we're actually, you guys will see it, but I'll go and talk about it. But Justin Rhodes uses his livestock a lot to help better his land. And we're going to exercise that with our goats. We've already got some rotational pens set up in the areas where we're clearing to let them actually clear the lower brush so that it's easier for us to get down at the root to cut that out. And then hopefully at some point, no promises in the spring or even next year, but we would really like to have pasture hogs and have the land to do it. And I'm hoping that area will turn into that at some point if we become... It's so hard at this point in the season because I start getting really, really tired. And I'm looking forward to like that restful period in the winter. Because when it gets cold here, the ground freezes. I mean, you might as well not try to cut down trees or do brush. It gets pretty... It can be... We can have gnarly winters. And it looks like we're going to have a bad winter. All of our goats are already putting on winter
coats.
Coats. The persimmon seeds are showing shovels or spoons in them, which means we're supposed to have a lot of snow. All of the woolly worms have been completely black. I have not found one. Yeah.
So
I haven't found one that's got a break
might
in
have
its
to bunker
color.
down. Hey, it's 2020. What
It's
else?
2020.
Right? Who knows?
The world can end before winter. Who knows? I don't know. It's crazy. Ooh, I love Nighthawks Farmstead. We see them around this time of year, but we don't see them in early summer or late spring. Look at a bird of prey. Straight up. Yeah, that's pretty much how they go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, it's just like maybe a couple feathers and that's it. All of our guineas, man. Our hawks here just decimated all of our guineas.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any guineas left.
We haven't seen them in
No.
weeks, so I doubt it.
No. And I keep finding puffs of feathers everywhere, and guinea feathers are extremely noticeable. So, yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah, I've seen your short out there with your donks. Use their poodle directly in the bottom. My bad. Yeah. I've heard that their poo is better at the bottoms there. Donkey pootie is different than horse. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. I figured because they're both from the equine family that it would be the same. That's awesome. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Oh, Willful Minis. If you get it, let us know.
Yeah.
But I've read horror stories where it like decapitated their chickens.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Needs a safety on it. Plus, we were real worried about the cost up front, so we built a little.
yeah, I have
rope pulley system.
yeah, mine's just like a pulley. I've got like a little pulley at the top that pulls up a slab of wood, and it's braced in, and it's just got a hook, so it runs up and through into my feed room. Because if you guys have seen any of our videos with our coop, like I've got a feed room, and then I've got two separate coops on each side, and literally there's like hooks that I just pull the strings and like hook them, and it raises the doors, and at night I lower them, so it helps a lot. We haven't had issues. I was really worried that maybe some minks could still get their heads through, but they haven't had any problems with minks. This is the time of year about 2 years ago. We lost like 13, 14 to a mink. Yeah. He would have kept killing too. We interrupted him. I came out to close up the coop and he was out there and I shined a light on him and scared me because I didn't have anything in my hand, and minks are straight up mean. Like they will attack you if you corner them. Ugh. Willful minis. I have been wanting one for years. Let's all just make the plunge, and we're all going to buy automatic chicken doors, and we can let each other know how it went, because I really am wanting that. Hey, Heirloom Permaculture, how are you? My meat pig got a cut on her shoulder, and I'm putting blue coat on it, but hoping it doesn't get infected.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. And if it acts like it doesn't like that blue shield, you can use Alu Shield. Alu Shield. Because sometimes, like, my goats, like, it depends on my goats. Some of them have, like, really high pain tolerances and some of them don't. And I've had one or two, like, act like I was killing them with blue coat, but it is a little bit caustic. So, like, Alu Shield from TSC doesn't seem like it bothers them as much. But I'm sure it still doesn't feel good. Donkey digest better than horses. They're much more efficient at digesting. My friend in Hawaii used her donkey poo directly in the garden on top. Really? That makes me so happy that we have them now. Because I was worried about that. I'm like, man, everything else besides the chicken is all cold compost, and these guys are hot. So that's really, really good. I'm glad to hear that.
I saw the horse story too.
Well, survival of the smartest. Is there really are there smart chickens though?
Yeah.
I won't say that because like we did have chickens that knew their names and like would come to them, and those are always the first ones that the mink and raccoons like to eat. Yeah. We've had a Becky, a Charlotte, Madge, Henny Penny. Those 4 were like the best chickens ever. I've refused to name any of them going forward. Because we've had really bad raccoons this year, but like we were reading something that said raccoons in a lot of areas were kind of out of control this year because right around their breeding season was when everybody went into quarantine and lockdown, so there was a lot less traffic on the road. So they're saying a lot of their population are affected because they become roadkill, and because not as many people were out driving, that their population kind of got a little out of control in some areas. Tell that to my chickens. They know. My neighbors know too, because we had one, guys, where I'm just going to tell the story. We came home late from like church and we'd been out to eat like at a Mexican restaurant, and Mark had his, I'm sorry, it's just funny recounting it, but he had a flashlight out and he was looking in the back, and I was like, there's eyes back there, Mark, and we're all dressed up in our church finest, trudging back there, and he's got Mark does have like silencers on his 22s, so for reasons like that, if we have predators that we need to dispatch, then we're not being a nuisance to our neighbors that are.
Try to be kind.
We try to be kind to them.
They
at
always
night.
show up, of course, at like 1 a.m.
They show up at 1 a.m. So like we go booking out there, and Mark's got that 22 with a silencer on it, and somebody used it up and didn't refill the
every time I go to use it, it's always empty, so she never puts it back.
Or put it back.
Similar to as like the car when you drive it, it's always empty. But so she kept the flashlight on it. Now, honestly, there was something wrong with it because
it wasn't okay, guys. Like there was something really wrong with this raccoon. But like I'm standing out there, and then all of a sudden it's like, dude whips out his handgun and is shooting this thing in the dark. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening out there? And like our neighbor, who is still out, by the way, at his bonfire, probably enjoying a nice cold beverage. It was a very warm night. Just like, what in the world was that? And I told Mark, I'm like, just go back and get another clip. But I mean, keeping the light on it, and the dogs kept it there. But it was not afraid of us. Like that thing would have come down.
Yeah. It
just acted like it had distemper or something. It just wasn't all there. You can just kind of tell when they're not 100% aware. But yeah, the raccoons here have been just insane, completely insane. But okay, oh totally, I think so. My favorite. Oh, Lady, I love that name. Yeah, my Favrils are not. I like my Favrils, but they're They're not the brightest. I think they're really sweet, super sweet, but not the brightest. That was the one that decided 4 days from hatch day that she just was not going to set those eggs anymore. I'm like, you invested 17 days and you're quitting now?
Yeah. She's the one that always likes the different breeds and everything. I'm just a Barred Rock guy. I like the Barred Rocks.
He likes the Plymouth Barred Rocks.
Just, they always seem calm.
Yeah.
They're pretty good sized chickens for meat if you needed to. And
well, and it figures,
eggs,
I wanted salmon favrils for the longest time just because of, their duality and function. And, of course, I got the first batch of chicks from a hatchery, and my cats promptly broke in and ate every single one of them. After being fed, they're fed every single day. And ate every last one of my chickens, my little chicks. So finally, the second time, I got a little bit wiser in where my brooder was set up and weighted it down to where they couldn't get in. So I have salmon favrils now, but yeah, I love them. They're super cute, super pretty, really a really nice temperament. But my rooster is Satan reincarnate. He's mean, unless Mark's out there. And then he leaves Mark alone because Mark will actually go and pick him up and hold him and make him calm down before he puts him back down. Yeah. Not me. I'm just I have a bucket and I will use it if you try to flog me. Oh, you think your favies aren't great at dual purpose? The eggs are still tiny. Yeah, they are tiny, aren't they? But boy, they really do have a nice compact body. For butcher if you were going to do that. They are dumb. They are dumb, Farmstead. I really try to look at them in a better light. But maybe they're just creative thinkers.
Chickens.
They're just chickens, yeah. There's no such thing as a smart chicken. But yeah. I think if we can add any type of bird, what would you add? If you could add a bird, I know birds are not your favorite, but...
Well, I'd like to try guineas again, but
yeah,
with the luck
I'm
we've
okay
had,
with
we're
guineas.
going to try guineas again.
I'm going to try adults. I'm not going to go through raising Keats. They're awesome. I love them. I think they're great, but for some reason they just always found ways out of the runs that we made for them, and I just think adults that have been maybe a little bit more tried and true and experienced wouldn't have had issues, but... yeah, I was really looking forward to see what they could do in the garden too, with taking care of, hey Wonderland Acres, taking care of rodents and snakes and everything like that, along with ticks and other pests that make up their homes in our homesteads or farmsteads, whatever you're on. They do run funny. They've got fat bottoms. I always tell them they're fat bottom girls. My daughter's what? And yeah, my daughter never gets my musical references, but that might be because she's 12, or 11. Yeah, she's... I have heard of the Langshans. Yes, I have. They are really pretty. They're really, really pretty. Ooh, blues. See, and in this area we have a lot of the blacks. You don't see a lot of the blues. But that's why I like them. They're super loud and obnoxious. Mark's a spirit animal, that's why.
Yeah.
Loud and obnoxious. They are dumb. Yeah, I had one killed that itself by trying...
Yeah.
What? Trying to swallow a whole
Jeez.
frog?
Should cut that on camera. That sounds hilarious, actually. I feel bad for laughing, but it's still funny. So I wonder if its legs were sticking out trying to swallow.
Bet.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had some friends that had a bunch of them. And one time, they lived sort of close to a road, and one time a semi was coming by, a grain truck. Mm-hmm. And he said all of a sudden the whole flock just decided to fly in front of the semi, and it was just...
yeah, all at one time.
A bunch of feathers, he said. It just basically the whole flock was gone. He's
we asked him, what were you doing to those guineas? Where they all just were nope.
Yeah, we came by shortly after. There was feathers
feathers
all
everywhere.
Yeah.
Feathers everywhere. It was a circus at their house all the time, though. All the time.
Well, Tasha said they ate it. That's one thing we wanted to try. I was if we could get them to stick around and get big enough. So
yeah. I've heard that they're actually really.
Does it taste
really
like chicken or something? Does it taste like anything related to it? What?
Willful minis. Maybe a peacock. I've heard they're fun to chase. Yeah. Are they fun to chase, Mark?
Yeah, real fun to chase.
Really fun to chase.
Yeah. They know the willful minis knows that I had to climb trees when I was younger to get them out. We had some, and they always flew up in a neighbor's tree, and then of course they sound like a cat being strangled. So neighbors would call and
Yeah.
Had to climb a couple trees in neighbors' yards, and all the neighbors would come and watch. So
And
that was
attack the
fun.
car, right? Saw its
Yeah.
reflection in the cars.
Yeah. So
Would attack the cars.
yeah, I can't chase them anymore. I'm too old to do that.
You know, now Farmstead. I've heard about the attack geese and guardian geese with the flocks, so that might be. What? What
I'm
are
reading
you
the
laughing
next
about? Oh, I
Tasha's.
thought he's laughing at me. I'm like,
My husband
what?
tries
I've
so hard to
heard.
do CPR on it and everything. I'm just getting a visual of like the mouth to
Don't
mouth,
die on
even,
me.
which you couldn't do because the frog's in there. But yeah.
Well, maybe he removed the
See,
frog
shit,
first.
The problem is he didn't do the Heimlich. It's choking.
Could you
You gotta-
imagine, like, well, maybe be like a baby, like you'd hold it and just like give it
Smack
like
it in
the
the
yeah.
Yeah. Just grab it by the
Pull the
frog legs
frog
and
out.
swing it around.
We did pull the frog out. Oh my gosh, Muscovy. You know, I've heard really good things about Muscovies, or Muscovies. I'm sorry if I'm. Maybe it's a regional thing if I'm saying it wrong or different, but I've really heard that they are fantastic because they're quiet. Someone told me they're not as dirty and that their meat is fantastic. But do they have a slower maturation than like most meat ducks? Kind of like the coonies, where they're supposed to be really, really good, but like they mature slower.
What was the duck you were talking about the other day? Because we're cleaning out brush. It's near a ravine, so we were thinking about maybe putting in some little
Runner
duck
ducks.
The runner ducks.
Runner
yeah.
ducks, because they look
We seem to like
ridiculous.
those, so.
They look ridiculous. I like animals that look ridiculous. I'm surprised I don't have a herd of La Manchas, honestly. Okay, so my geese aren't with my chickens. They're too mean. Oh.
Geese can be mean.
Yeah.
Very mean. We had some
I had
mistakes.
read someone where we in a goat farm where they were talking about housing geese with their goats. And they said their goats were the only thing that would save them from the geese because they said usually when they get on a nest, they become so god awful that she said luckily like the goats would just kind of create like pandemonium and give her enough of a window to escape her geese. Oh, good, sweet. I'm glad I got it.
There you go.
Yes. 3 months old. That's really not that bad, though. I mean, when you think about maturation dates. Me too. I want some runner duck. They're really cool. They just, I don't know. They just look like the sophisticated nerdy duck that just is like real, like, got great posture, you know? Really great posture. That, yeah. Who was I watching? Oh, of Little and Light. She had Muscovies. That's what she had gotten. All said that is 1 live. Oh, okay. Yeah, the runner ducks are just really cool. I've heard they're not like as dirty because of their stature. They don't dirty up pens quite like everything else does. Oh my god, when the goose is laying the candles. Oh, you leave it to Dan. Poor Dan. Your
Yes,
knight in
take
shining
care of
armor with geese. Oh, you know, Toulouse geese. That's what I was telling him. Toulouse and Sebastopol geese. If I'm saying that right. But the geese, like, with the curly feathers. Yeah. I like them, but at the same time, like, I always like the really popular, and I really don't try to do that, but I tend to like the coonies or like a lot of the things that are kind of like fad animals right now. And then they're so hard to get a hold of. Like right now, I can't find miniatures in our area. A miniature donkey was really, really hard to find until after I bought one. And then it's like everything came on the market, so. Hint, hint. What's that mean? Hint, hint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Oh. My husband's so much smarter than me sometimes. I'm telling you what. He loves the waterfowl. I wanted to get rid of them, but he thinks they're funny, so we keep them. Even when they beat the snot out of him, does he think they're funny then? Because, like, I remember, like, as a child, feeding geese bread and them straight up biting me and beating me with their wings, and I'm pretty sure I was with an uncle that knew what was going to happen, just figured I'd learn the hard way. And I did learn the hard way. I learned geese have teeth.
Yeah.
Like really
And we
freaky
had
teeth
geese
in their bill.
as kids, and
Yeah.
we'd usually let them run free around, but when people would come over, we'd have to put them up because would chase people and were a little rough. I remember we'd carry them like guitars, so you'd hold the body and hold their neck out. And my sisters, I'm sure still watching, I got too close and one time and it like grabbed the hair on the back of my head when I actually had hair and was pulling my head back.
When I actually had
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, they'll bite or grab whatever they can too. So.
Farmstead, that's just how it goes, man. I'm telling you what. Like, you're the one that brings the feed. That's why I like goats, though. But, like, whoa, that's a dog.
That's the little lap dog.
It's my dog. I was scared. I didn't know what it was.
That's the little one the turkeys have been chasing.
Yeah, the turkeys don't like this guy who's breathing, like, the most wretched
he
breath.
Heard you say yes, bad breath.
You're making me lose my concentration, bud. You are. You're making me lose it. I don't know where I was going now. Oh, but yeah, goats, like, it can become a complete mosh pit if you're not careful but then they, like, worship the ground that you walk on. Like, mine love me, but it's because of food, so I guess it's, like, I don't know. That, like, cheapens their love, kind of, I guess. No. See, everybody likes kunis. Like, who cannot love, like, that really, really short nose, and I heard they taste fantastic, so that's really where we're going. We're trying to really become a lot more self-sufficient. And the slow maturation animals don't really bother me a whole lot because then I get to enjoy them and make them have like wonderful lives, like a lot longer lives than most like market animals, and then they just have the one bad day. So don't bother him. I brought those jerks into this world. Well, get ready to have children because that's kind of how it goes with them too. I'm like, when you're young and you're talking to your parents and they say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. And you're like, that's so lame, Mom. Like, I'm never going to say that to my kid. Remember you thought those thoughts.
Someone for coon meat is good.
Yeah, coon is supposed to be really good. Like the way that the fat marbles in it is supposed to be.
I was wondering, is it like a different fat?
Yeah, well, it's the same like with the Scottish Highlander when they do butcher those cattle out, that it's the same way because it matures slower. It doesn't like stress the meat out as much. Does that make sense? Like it actually tastes better because of that. But how old is he? Oh, I've had him he's 8 or 9, but he's a smaller dog, so he'll live to be, I hope so. I hope he lives to be really, really old.
Oh, lately you start taking
he's acting
cars.
He's been chasing cars.
So that won't extend his life.
I feel like he may be shortening his lifespan. And in that case, like we've heard cars lock up their brakes and it scares me to death. So I have been trying to do better about if our dogs go out together, they get into massive amounts of trouble. Like bring garbage back that is rancid from the neighbors and go roll in dead stuff and then come back to the house and run after cars. If they go out separately, then it's like bummer for them. They don't run off and be bad little teenagers tearing up the town.
His breath is awful.
That's probably why his breath is pretty terrible today, which is disgusting. But yeah, he's a little fart. Yeah, he's cute for a reason. It is good. See why yeah. I love everything. I'm the worst. No, that's not true, Farmstead. I mean, you can have, and I think that's what I love about homesteading is the fluidity of it. Like, and even though people will sometimes like blatantly argue with me that you're a hobby farm or you're a farmstead, who gives a flying rat's rear end? I am what I am. I raise animals.
She sends me animal postings every day. Much, so.
Every day.
Say, yes, the duckling kidnappers never forget. On the what's that for the humming what was that, catching fire or whatever.
Never forget. Right. He's talking about
Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah. Never forget.
The duckling kidnappers never forget. Those cows are amazing. Those hairy coos, like one of my ex coworkers like loves Ireland and everything in that area. And like the other day I was talking about maybe getting another surprise and she asked if it was going to be a hairy coo. And I'm like, yes, because I would name him Fergus. If I got a hairy coo, he would be Fergus. Yeah. But it's like Kobe beef in pig form. Yeah. Maybe some teeth checking now. Yeah, oh God. I have a chihuahua. I had my chihuahua hit on the highway we live on.
Oh no.
They do that though. Like animals just get themselves in the darndest predicaments, and you're like, how in the heck? How did you do that? You know, I've had baby goats jump into buckets of water that were like, no joke, this tall, that easily could have righted themselves and gotten out and didn't get out. That's awful to come into the barn in the morning. That's when you're like, I quit. I can't do this. I quit. This is not okay. I can't.
She came in tears.
Yeah. I've had many times where I've come in tears. Then if that makes me a bad homesteader, I don't feel like it does though. I mean, you can love your livestock and refuse to eat anything from your animals and just raise them for the pure goodness of having them to better your land or control the weeds or the browse or brush on your land. And that makes you a good homesteader because you're working the land. You don't have to eat them to be a homesteader at all. I mean, it's very, very fluid, and I think that's why I appreciate it so much.
Tasha, I'm thinking of getting Malkin and start bringing, but waiting to find out. Just make it your 401k purchase. Just start breeding them and make it your retirement fund.
Well, Tasha, you're in Indiana too, aren't you? Right. So tell your husband you've got a customer. Yeah. You've got a customer waiting on Coonies. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Owl Creek, how are you? There's another Hoosier in here. I do know that we have fences that can be built for the doggies, but then they just, trust me, this dog will find a way over, under, or around. Yeah, we've tried. We have tried.
But we're putting some new pens up. We're thinking it'll help that. So.
And where the road is, that's actually where we've got woods, like a swale, like a creek right there. And then we're clearing to that swale, and that's where the pig pen will be. And I feel like if we can cut that off, then they won't.
They might not have to worry about it. Apparently the turkeys now are on his case, so if they keep him...
We'll just keep them posted all corners of the property.
He went out for about 10 minutes twice today and came running back. So maybe that's fixed.
Yeah, it is up to them at some point, Farmstead, you're right. But like when you really take a lot of time to raise your livestock, it's just... It's heart-shattering when it's like, how was that the danger... in the pen? Here I am worrying about coyotes or coccidia or Johne's disease and doing blood testing and biosecurity panel testing on all my animals, and it's a bucket of water. Yeah, it's a bucket of water that takes it. You're just like, you've got to be like, I've performed my first round of CPR on a goat kid this year. This has been like a very... If there was going to be a year where I really wanted to quit, this year was a year where I really wanted to quit. And this whole
I told her too, though, that we've had more kids this year than...
Yeah, our kid crop for what we had, the survival rate and the percentage was really good. It was really, really good. But I don't know if it's because like when you share with people in this manner, that it just kind of puts everything out there for someone to pick apart and put on blast, which is totally their right, and I'm opening the door for that by sharing it with them. But there's something about that honesty that it's just really hard to share things that you probably classify as a failure. So the one with the baby goat that was, I'm pretty sure was born dead, probably stillborn, that I had done CPR, and I left that doe for 20 minutes. I had been out there with her the entire day waiting for her labor, skipped church, the whole 9 yards, and went inside for 20 minutes to do research on ketosis and start getting a mixture because I was worried with the way she was acting that she was getting ready to settle into ketosis or some kind of pregnancy toxemia, and came back out, and that kid was unresponsive. Hadn't been passed all the way yet, was still in the process of being birthed. And I just, that killed me that day. I mean, I know for him, poor guy, like, as much as we have going on here, like, those things, like, really destroy me, like, to my core. They are gut busters where you're just like, 20 minutes, why couldn't I have just stayed in there or used my phone? But those are things that you kind of just have to leave up to. That's an experience, that's a tool to be used for the next experience. And I've said it many times in a lot of our videos. Failures are not the end result of an experience, they're tools for the next. And I think I probably say that on them more so for myself, because there have been a lot of times this year where it's like, nah, it's not worth it. Like, nope, I'm done. I'm not going to care for anything living anymore. I'll just take care of plants. But I love them too much, and they enrich my life, and I like to think that I enrich theirs. So I am You're in North Carolina, Tasha? This whole time I was thinking you're a Hoosier. What in the world?
But hopefully not for long.
Hopefully not. Ooh, where are you going to move? Where are you going to move? North Carolina is a beautiful state. It is a beautiful state. Don't forget to like the... Yeah, thanks, Farmstead. You rocking it. She's rocking it for me. But yeah, it's... This year's been rough. And I think I've talked to quite a few other people that have been homesteading or even new to like this whole surge of going back to the earth or feeling the need to become more self-sufficient because the powers that be that are installed in place are not as reliable as we thought they were, like grocery stores and things like that. There's just been a lot that's gone on in our world where I feel like maybe the redirection to self-sufficiency isn't so good for self-care sometimes, especially this year, like being quarantined and inside and working from home. You put like a lot into that stuff. It's an investment financially, mentally, emotionally, and then to have failures like that, I feel like it weighs on people. And I really feel like for homesteaders and people that are extremely self-sufficient, like you really do have to have a mindset where you have to let it roll off your back and said that happened this time, but it's not always going to be that way. And I'm better prepared now for the next one, because mentally, like self-care wise, homesteading this year's been tough for me. At least it has. There's been a lot of like, I know, poor guy over here's like,
well, it's like the recent case we had with the donkey, you know, because like
the llama.
I mean, we got the donkey, but like we recently lost the llama, and then we lost Raven, our goat, and it was like a down spell. So you know, bringing in the donkey is all good, and it was like, yeah, we got a donkey now. Still, there was a lot of heartache sometimes.
Well, and like we were talking because some people are like, oh, that's great, you got a donkey, it's a great pet. And I'm like, actually, we were like forced into that move because we needed a guardian. Yeah. And while I know miniature donkeys aren't the most conventional of guardians, here they're in practice a lot in our area. Mm-hmm. A lot. And we talked to a lot of
like
people.
Large predators either.
Yes. Like if we had cougars or bears or mountain lions, like forget it. It would have to be an LGD all the way. Yeah. We would have to get a couple livestock guardian dogs. Teeth for teeth. Mm-hmm. But here that should be enough. And I don't know, maybe you should just start peeing around our goat field. They're territorial. You like to pee outside, you could just do it around the fence. Sure.
Just another chore around the farm. Oh, I got pee, I got trout outside now.
Hold it. Yeah. Hold it. What are you doing? Go out to the back fence. Oh, God.
It's really hard on my mental health. It is. Farming can be, definitely.
It is. It's very hard. Yeah. And we're feeling you, like, with your bees. I hope your bees, I don't know if you've had a chance to get back in with them, Farmstead, to check to see how your honey-bound hive went, but, oh, my God, my bees. It's not. I've got in touch with some local beekeepers here that have been like, "You're okay. This is normal." Yeah. But everything in my mind is like, fail. They're dying. They're failing.
Well, it doesn't help. Like our first 2 hives weren't successful, so now we're a little skittish. They
just packed their bags and left, guys. Like they absconded.
Well, the one got attacked.
The one did, but honestly, if it got robbed, it was never going to make. And when we broke into that hive, there was like a ton of brood and no honey stores. None whatsoever. So it's like they focused everything on brood and nothing on honey. And we'd fed them for a good portion of the year. So I don't know what happened with that hive.
I guess we just didn't expect them to stop producing brood so early. Then, you know? It's like...
Oh, my friend lost a lot of kids this year. I'm not sure where... Oh...
It's
been hard for kids. And you have years of kid crops like that with goats, especially. Like, we've had years where it was like, man, nothing could kill these kids if it tried. These goats are so healthy. And the next year it's like, this one has coccidia too, or the water bucket is my big killer this year. I mean, what is going on here? Failure is a part of life. Unfortunately, failing with your livestock kids. It does. It's another life. Yeah. It's another life. Like, and I'm not going to downplay, like, just growing crops because, like, that's your food. Like, that really hits home too. But there's just something about, like, a beating heart that is under your care that just stops beating. Like, for me, it is just like... I don't know. It just... And I shadowed with our vet that is actually our local vet. I shadowed with him for years. Put in thousands of volunteer hours with this guy. And it was when I was there for like the first animal to like actively be put down that was not my own. And just seeing how evil people are to their animals. Like 100% are evil to their pets. I was like, nope, I can't be a vet. I can't do it. Putting them down and watching that was just, it was too much. I feel like I'm getting really heavy. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get like super heavy. Oh.
Donkeys are so easy to care for. Just make sure it doesn't get fat.
Yeah,
No guarantee on our farm because we feed treats everything.
Well, we've read not to do that because of them foundering, but
Joe's upset our daughter because the donkey doesn't come up, which I think it's because she's not completely comfortable yet. She's getting there. She comes closer, but she wants to give her treats out of her hands.
Yeah, she does. And I said she'll come around. She's only been here for a week and a half. She really needs to get the lay of the land. She's like, she's not braying. And I'm like, that's a comfort thing. And she might just be a quiet donkey. So don't have high expectations. Just be happy she's here and make her life as happy and healthy as you can. And the rest will follow in time. You tell Dan to pee around your fences too, Farmstead. See? Come on.
No.
You gotta live up to Dan's standards.
Not alone then. That's good to know.
Donkey fat is a killer. Yeah, I've read a lot about that. I've read a lot about it. I have to tell my daughter because she's like, I want to make her friendly. I'm like, oh, sometimes making things friendly makes them fat. Okay, tons of stores, but they're okay. Ugh, goats are they're fickle creatures. Oh, good, you got to get in with your bees. They ate a ton of their stores, but they're okay. Yeah, I noticed you had said that you were worried about that. Oh, well, hurry up and edit. Tell you that, and then I'm like four videos deep where I'm just like, I've got to cut 2 hours down into 10 minutes, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. Oh, goodness. They ate stores. It's filmed today. Yeah, being a vet, and our vet always looks so tired, guys. Yeah. Like, he always looks so exhausted.
A lot of times we'll do the emergency calls, go ahead and bring him into the office because I'm already there. Yeah. So he's already there with somebody else.
We had an emergency call with Raven for a kid that presented wrong. And I called him. He's like, well, I'm already here pumping the stomachs of 3 horses that got into a green room when they shouldn't have. I'm like, oh. Yeah, I felt bad. And then had to try to...
Yeah, our recent visit, man, he looked worn out.
He was very tired. Well, not like for the dehorning we just did. He was like chipper. He's a morning person. He's not a night person, and I can relate to that.
William could help with the search farm marking. We know that
he
for a
has
fact.
To hang upside down to do that, though, willful minis. We learned that today. So we're considering Tennessee, West Virginia, Southern Ohio, or Kentucky.
All those sound like great places.
I was going to say, they all sound wonderful. Tennessee would be my pick, but it's because I love to vacation in Tennessee, so I have to find your donkey video. Yes, I have 2 now. I have one where it was like, ooh, what are we getting? And then the next one was introducing her to our herd. That one came out today, and she's doing phenomenal. I hate to be like a spoiler alert for you, Farmstead, but she's doing a really, really good job. She's been great. Lola's so adorable. She will come. She will. She will. Especially, she likes Joe because Joe is a lot smaller than we are, and she does not seem to be as apprehensive when Josie approaches her. So Joe's like my main go-to. It's just getting her motivated after soccer practice and school to kind of get out there and do things. Me too. I struggle too, though. Oh, goodness. I just finished that chicken coop video. I Editing is terrible. I love shooting, and I like my end product, but there are times, like, in the middle of editing, like, these poor guys sit on the couch with me and, like, the same line over, and because I'm just trying to cut and cut. And yeah. And then when
it's entertaining, though, because, like, some of the bloopers we'll sit and laugh at. We don't always include them. But
we still have a couple videos, like, when we're, like, having a slow day, he's like, pull up that video on how to plant potatoes in your feed bags, because that one is... There's so much chaos that ensues, and I love that. Even if, like, we didn't do these lives, or if I didn't have people watching, like, just the fact that we can go back and look at, like, our family. Like, I'm actually editing a video where my dad is in the background, and he's being his old dad self, telling the old dad jokes and being silly, and all I can think is, like, I'm so glad that I have this on film, because one day I'm going to be able to go back when he's not here anymore and be like, that's my daddy, and he was out there with us joking and cutting
he was
up.
like messing with stuff. He was like, he had a fishing pole. We didn't even realize it until we watched the video.
He's in the back, like, especially when you speed things up.
It's pretty great.
The people in the background, when you speed things up, you're like, I didn't know that was happening in the background. So, like, I have to be super careful sometimes when I'm filming, because I'm always afraid I'm going to get something I shouldn't get in the background.
Like the peeing outdoors.
Yeah, like the peeing outdoors. Yeah. Or dog taking a deuce in my yard. That always happens. Where I'm like, God, guys, go poop somewhere else. When I am stumped, I take my chickens into the vet, and it is so. Well, you're lucky to have a chicken vet because one needed a necropsy. Oh, he let me watch and told me, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." Yeah, I know some people like don't like necropsies, but like honestly, they always really interested me because you got to see like the inner workings, and then if you're not squeamish at your own home, then you can do it yourself and cut yourself some costs. And then once you're in there, you can take pictures and videos. And I mean, my vets sometimes like send me a video. You know, what are you seeing? You're describing it really well, but I really want to see it. God for technology, because back in the day when I was shadowing him, it wasn't like that. Oh, thanks, Classic OC. I appreciate that. I appreciate seeing you in here tonight. That's good.
Same.
You have to laugh at yourself.
Ashley's the same way. She'll get on like a little clip and just laugh at it over and over.
Or the thumbnails YouTube picks for me. Or I'm like, why YouTube? I already have issues with this. Why are you making it worse?
The most unappealing.
They pick things where I've got like a goat and I'm all like, please, just there's so many in there where I feel like I possibly am smiling in a clear shot, but no. God, dog's making weird noises over there. Yeah, I think my vet would. Yeah.
The worst thing I got in the background of the video was my son taking a pee. So similar case for us. Like Ashley mentioned, we live on a farm. I go to the bathroom and you gotta pee. You just go pee. Well, my daughter didn't realize how it works, and when we first moved in, we didn't have all the trees up front we had to do now. And she was up near the front working on something, and my daughter
was in a flower bed, and she dropped her trousers and tried to poop in the yard. He has never pooped in the yard, for the record.
No, I don't do that.
Never, but it was terrible because I was up there. I'm like, you better watch out. A policeman's gonna go by and see you doing that. And no joke, guys. At that exact moment, a police officer drove down a road, an old country road where we never see police officers, and she was like, you could just tell. She's like, Mama ain't playing. I was like, see?
She didn't do it again after that.
No, that broke her. Yeah. I've had people come to buy goats and, pee in my barn, guys. I had one, he drove, they drive 4 hours, and got there, and, they didn't stop on the way, and the one guy's like, I'm really sorry, but I need to pee. And I'm like, oh, you can go in the house. He's like, no, can I just go, over here in the stall? I'm like, okay. You can pee in my barn. Goat people are weird. They are weird. We've had quite a few goat people here where I was like, do I reflect this? Just tell me, weird goat lady vibes. Oh gosh. I always check livers when we it's the same with deer. We're getting ready for deer season. I'm actually going to be going out tomorrow, and that is the number one thing to inspect. Is liver and just lesions on anything. Liver and lungs, heart is usually
look at all the primary organs.
Yeah, well, especially because we have chronic wasting disease, so that's becoming a lot more prevalent, or blue tongue. I guess a lot of people are calling it blue tongue. In our area, it's becoming really prevalent. So, I mean, we used to take our deer for butcher across state lines, and we can't do that anymore because of that disease. They want it deboned, debrained, and everything. And at that point, I'm like, well, I just did all of the work, so why would I bring it to you? So, yeah, people peed in my barn, Tasha. And I don't know if I'm, just too nice in public, and I just don't... What?
I can't say much. I've done it before.
But you live here.
Yeah,
you don't just... You're not coming to... He didn't even buy a goat, either. Yeah, nope. He didn't even buy a goat.
I'm working on something. It's just easier.
I'm like...
We got a big barn.
Yeah. Yeah, there's different. I'm like, yeah, we were over in the kidding side of our barn. I'm like, yeah, if you go in the main barn, over in that stall, I haven't cleaned it out yet, so just...
I lost 3 subs since my chicken video. You're like Ashley. Yeah. Ashley worries about her sub count.
I mean, you're going to rub somebody wrong every time. I'm sure I've rubbed people wrong here in chat, and it's fine. It's okay.
Peeing in a barn, probably.
Yeah, peeing in a barn or butchering animals or consuming them. It is what it is. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice, and it's also their choice to leave kick rocks and leave the channel.
Deer population has been done.
Who said that?
Oh, really? Because it seems like a lot of areas I hear it's up, and I work in insurance, so they talk about it a lot because of car accidents. So I know like our public land has, I think, bumped up even their
Yeah.
quotas. So
Yeah.
I wonder what's causing it to be down there.
That's
weird.
weird. That's where, like, I know, like, we're down, like, in the Franklin County, Union County area, and, like, legally you can take almost up to 8 deer.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But there's a lot of deer down here.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yeah, we driven home tonight. We saw like a pack of 12 or something by the road.
Herd.
Yeah, herd. Well,
I'm sorry, I'm
just-
weird. I'm a
I was
nerd like
trying
that.
to think of the number.
Yeah. It was like 8. There's a ton of
Isn't
them.
there a time for deer season where you can use a handgun? Yeah, during gun season.
During
You can-
gun season, and even then, like, certain calibers are allowed. So even if you were hunting, like, with a rifle, certain calibers are okay, and other calibers are not okay.
And I'm a caliber geek, so I know.
Yeah,
which
this
one
is
you're-
he's a
I hand
boomstick
load
boy
and
over
do it
here.
for-
Yeah.
So I do a
Yeah.
little gunsmithing. Oh, it's,
Hey, Pathways Homestead. Yeah, we've been like doing this a lot. Like I'll gain one and lose one, and then gain one and lose 7.
And she noticed the giveaway helped quite a bit, but then
It
she
did,
saw
but
some loss
yeah,
after
there
that.
and there are
so-
some that like have been religious since. Like they watch the videos and they're commenting and being very proactive. And there are others where it's like that's totally fine. I get it, and that's something like I knew going into that, but. And you rub people wrong sometimes. Some people will love you until you say deer hunting, or they will love you until you start talking about butchering. And to each their own, that's totally fine. You know, I've never unsubscribed to people because, like, I just realized their lifestyle is different than mine and it's interesting. I don't have to agree with them to find their life interesting. So, hey, Crooked Woods, how are you? Don't worry about it, but I think, yeah. You know, like when I first started and sub counts went up, or I lost one, like, oh my god, I was like, what did I do? What did I say? Did I like fart in the video or something or what? Like, but some people just get a wild hair and they're just like, yeah, you're not making what I like, so, which is fine. All right, Owl Creek, thanks for stopping in. I had 5 people up sub because of my live, the way I called out the winner for the giveaway.
Really? Wow.
That's when I'm like, bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, go ahead. It's all right. You can kick
Can't
rocks
appease
right
them
out
all.
of here. No, you can't. Crooked Wood Farm people, yeah, you know, and that's totally fine. But I think everyone says, yeah, I have not had too huge of a drop off. But, like, at my size, like, seriously, like, 1 or 2, like, sometimes I'm like, what, 1 or 2, why? You know, I need you, I love you, stay. But if they don't want to stay, that's cool. People can be pansies.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Seems like it's worse as we keep going on, but
The older I
True.
get, the more I realize I'm like my dad, where he's like, hey, I'll need to just toughen up and suck it up. I'm like, okay. Whatever, Dad. I kept all my Homestead channels and considered, oh, Margie, you're so sweet.
You rock, Margie.
Yeah, you rock. And Margie's gone through, like, all of my videos and, like, commented and everything. She is the bee's knees. She really is. Yeah, same. It's so weird. I think the thumbs down hurts my feelings more. I just am like, haha, haters, go on and hate. That's an engagement. YouTube likes me
yeah,
for that.
First you were offended
at first. Yes, I was like,
I had to talk her into like, hey, it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
because YouTube looks as interaction.
Yeah,
So
they're like, well, I guess if it gets
I
me
mean,
into the algorithm,
yeah.
thumbs down all you want. It's fine, whatever.
yeah, so
Yeah, that sucks. People can be pansies, but I'm ultimately here to share with them, and they're free to stick around for it, or they're free to say no thank you. And if a thumbs down and an unsub is a no thank you, then cool. Enjoy your life. Maybe you'll come back at some point. I've wanted to start a channel, but I don't think I could keep my composure with crazy people. and I'm
Tasha,
not that
just go for it.
It's okay.
That's the way she sounded at first too, and she
Yeah.
still ridicules herself and
yeah.
picks at herself, but she does fine.
Yeah,
So
I like to stop when I'm
Champagne.
editing and I have like 4 chins. I'm like, you are married to this.
yeah,
Isn't this
picks
hot?
at herself the whole time.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I think it gets better as you do more though.
It
You feel
does.
better
It
about
does. And
then-
like honestly, I haven't had too many crazies. And like even then, like I either kill them with kindness or just don't even respond, because that's what they want. They want a response. And then I feel bad for them because that's what they want. They want attention. And I'm like, oh, you need attention. I can't help it. Yeah, it's a hard thing to master. Tasha, go for it. Start a channel, girl. Oh, Margie's just an old farm gal, so you've seen it all. Yep, I know what you mean, Margie. I know what you mean. I just never figure out why. Like, why would you thumbs down a garden tour?
That is funny. Apparently,
Did you have
didn't like
droopy
some
tomatoes or
yeah,
something?
yeah.
I mean, something like...
Didn't have marijuana in your garden, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. People find a reason for everything.
Yeah, I mean, and it sometimes I'm like, maybe they just didn't like, they're having a bad day and they just didn't like how bubbly you were, and that's totally
Maybe they
fine.
fat fingered it. Maybe they hit the
They fat fingered it. I love that saying. What are the Indiana state taxes for homesteaders in your area?
That's funny. We were talking about that the other day because we don't have anything like a tax exempt status or anything, and we're thinking about it.
Thinking about it because we've had some expenses that definitely could have fallen under tax exemption.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the guidelines here, like you have to have 5 acres, and there's a couple other guidelines. I'll use a lot for self-sufficiency, as well as like we'd sell off extra vegetables, we sell livestock. But
And then every time we go to TSC, they ask. So
yeah, they have, which is, I'm like, it almost makes me feel like special that I'm like one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, are you tax exempt because you're buying a whole lot of farm crap?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I am, but no, I'm not.
So yeah, we definitely need to check into it.
Farmstead marijuana is legal here. Well, Indiana's not quite there. We got this CBD oil, or is that Ohio? Indiana's got it.
Yeah,
CBD oil, but
not the marijuana.
Yeah.
I think only medicinal use.
Yeah, only in Ohio. It's
I think
it's
I don't know.
only
I don't really
medicinal.
track
There
it too
there are
close.
dispensaries and stuff, but I don't have that. I'm just like, how? I do that too sometimes. Farmstead's
How long have
okay.
you been doing videos? You started.
I started January 20th, and it was
Before
Martin Luther
all the
King
COVID
Day. Yeah, it was
craziness.
before all the COVID craziness.
Which it made it nice because then it gave you.
Yeah, I could
something to
focus
do,
on
yeah.
it a little bit more. Like,
It became entertaining while we were stuck at home.
but it's weird because like when I
lockdown.
went back into the office, like all of my peoples in the office were like, "I love your videos. We watch,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "That is so weird."
Yeah, don't have to talk to them about like
Yeah,
what's
like,
going on. They know, and you just
It's
jump right
so
into
weird. Like they'll come to me like, "Oh, how's Lola?" or "How is Raven?" or "How is Rosie doing?" I'm like, "Oh, that's right, because you watch."
And it's really bad for
those?"
me because I don't know all their names exactly. So like they'll say one of them like,
Mark
was
will
it
point
a
at
white
and
and
be
brown
like,
one?
He's
Was
like,
it
that one.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
do you mean Belle?
Yeah.
They have
You shake a
names.
bucket, they all come up. You don't have to even call
Yeah.
names. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing videos since January 20th, and I don't know, I still trip through it, and sometimes like what I think is a great video in my standards, then I upload it and I'm like, man, this is crap. Like, why did I film this? But it's okay. My life can be crazy sometimes, since that, maybe that's the scary part, maybe crazy, because you're like, well,
you have to be a little
maybe you're
crazy to be
not.
homesteader.
You do.
though,
I mean,
so.
really, to put
With
yourself
all
through
the
that mental
different chores
strain
going
all the
on,
time.
Yeah.
Where like we have friends who are like, when we first started homesteading or farmsteading or hobby farming, whatever you want to categorize this as, because it doesn't really matter to me, even though it does, because I had to make that differentiation, and they'd be like, do you want to go do this? I'm like, no, I gotta milk my goats. They just look at me like, what? I'm like, I have like a 4-year-old and I need to milk my goats, and my goats are having babies, and I've got chickens, and I've got to get my seeds in the ground. I got to get corn in the ground. And it's just kind of funny that how much of it just takes up your time. But like we willingly let it take up our time and are happy to add more things. Even when we say no more, then another donkey appears, or like goats, and then more, or we're getting pigs or ducks. It's just hobby farmstead. There you go. That's me. Farmstead. That's me. We got our deferral taken away. Oh, what? That's silly. You have 5. Oh my God. I have 1 and I can't hardly.
Wow.
Times where I'm like,
You mean go kids? No, I'm kidding.
yeah, I don't have any goat kids, but like 2-leggeds? Nope. Just the 1. Just started filming. It's like planting a tree. Bedtime to do. I was, yeah. It was 10 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah, yes, I prefer my animals over. Me too. Dude, my animals are happy to see me, whether I got makeup on or in pajamas or
Yeah, when
like
she's
had the
stressed
worst
out,
day.
she'll go out
That's
there
where I
and
go. Yeah, Mark knows when I've had bad days and I just
She
kind of
goes out in the barn and
disappear. That's
disappears
where I'm
out there.
at. Yeah.
Sitting in a stall with goats all over.
Yeah, just like hugging them for dear life.
That's her.
the best time. I was gonna say I'm planting a tree for bedtime. I'm like, how does that work? It was 10 years ago. Yeah, you really look at like some of these phenoms that have like buku subscribers. Yeah, they started like at the prime time. Now we're all just trying to catch that bandwagon.
Yep.
But I enjoy doing this. I think this is really fun. Since you're in 20th year, you guys are very entertaining. Thank you. He's like, I live. Yeah, he's like, I live with this 24/7 guy. Shut up! Don't make it worse. Sometimes I dislike a ton. I got tired of the every night for sure, but it keeps happening. Yeah, it does. It's weird how that happens. 5 2-leggeds. Oh Lord.
Man. Good luck to you.
Yeah, I coach softball, and like the 10 to 11 girls at this age where they've got hormones, I'm just like, you guys all need to just I'm such a mean coach though. They do anything, I'm like, drop and give me 20 push-ups now. And then the first word I hear out of your mouth, you guys are running to the fence and back.
So as Ashley mentioned, we have one daughter.
Yeah, we do have
but
one daughter.
we have a nephew and niece, which my sister's probably watching. But the little nephew guy, man, he is always into things. And he scares me to death around here.
He's a bundle of energy.
I don't know if you have one like that, but man, he'll like try to climb up in the loft, and I'm like, good Lord, I'm chasing after him, or try to climb on a tractor. Yeah. He's all over everything.
He's so at that phase
our daughter's
too, where you're
calm
like,
and real
you cannot say
back,
the word can't because he can.
Yeah.
And like, I honestly, like, I admire that in children, because you do see children where they've been told I can't, or they can't so much that when they get older, they're like, I can't do that. And it's like, yes, you can break through that wall. So like, we try not to be like, you can't, but then like when it's like, he's like, I'm going to jump out of the loft. Like, you can't, you know? He's like, oh, yes, I can.
You got 5 running around.
Yeah. Kudos to you, Tasha. Yep. I bet you're like, hurry up, hubby, and retire so we can move somewhere where they get these kids out of the house a little bit more. They do love you unconditionally. Oh. 4 boys, 1 girl. 4-year-old has autism.
Oh.
Well, that's wonderful that you have all of them. The 4-year-old. I used to substitute teach, and I always got placed in with the kids with autism or Down syndrome, and they were a joy. 100%, they were a joy. I loved that. I did love that. You guys should do a fall Halloween barn party special and video it.
We thought about it because actually my parents were in a church, and we actually had a fall party scheduled. What was that, last year before?
We had it scheduled like every year, and something always happens. Where
but yeah, we thought about doing that and then videoing it and having.
Well, I saw like all those like really cute like dog costumes and hats, and I'm like, do you think the goats will wear this? He just looked at me, but I don't think he understood how serious I was. I hope the goats are prepared for that, because really it's probably going to happen. And I'm going to blame you, Classic OC, so that when Rosie's looking at me like, Mom, what in the world? I'm going to be like, Classic OC said to do it. So if you have a complaint, that's the manager, Karen. You go to that manager. Oh, have been doing videos for 1.5 years, but been homesteading a long time. You know, I found that, like, we were just talking about that the other day, that I wish that we would have started when we first bought this land 10 years ago. It was just a cornfield. Everything that's here, like, we had the house built. We were blessed. We had both saved. We had the barn built. We put in all the stalls and loft by ourselves. We did all the fencing by hand by ourselves. I mean, there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears here that I'm like, I really wish I could have just documented that. Not even for YouTube, but just to document, so that I could go back, like, when Joe has grandchildren, and be like, oh, Sonny, come here and sit on my lap, and look what your grandmother did. Like, I hope I don't talk like that, but you guys know what I mean. Like, I just would love to go back and be like, look, you guys can actually see it. It's not even like black and white pictures. Like, when I was raised and looked at photo albums, like, there's old tintypes, and then there's black, which that was like mind-blowing for me, sitting like with my grandparents or my mom. But like, now to think like my grandkids will actually be able to like watch this at some point, perhaps, if YouTube is still around. I don't see why it wouldn't be around, but things change drastically. But they can go back and be like, that was my grandmother 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10, however. God, I hope I don't have grandkids in 10 years. Wait, Joe, wait. So, yeah, that there's something like really romantic about that thought, that it's like they're going to actually be able to see like what I was like and how I was and how Mark was and the farm was. and then compare it to what they have in front of them, and that's just, it's like super romantic. Yeah. I don't have whispers. I don't have kids. Four-leggeds and two-legged feathered kids are just as good.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Dress up
the goats. Yes.
Didn't we do that for church play? Didn't we dress one up as a?
I think we did.
Yeah, reindeer. I think we had like reindeer antlers.
We did.
Stuck them on
We
there.
did.
So.
We did not videotape that or anything, but like.
But
I tried to do a photo shoot with them.
Yeah.
With
sunglasses,
synthetic wreaths, and that was total pandemonium. Just picture goats with bells and wreaths around their neck and things hanging off their heads that are somewhat supposed to be antlers, just flying across the field because they were like, "Mom, this is not okay."
Yeah.
So we may need to have a little bit more supervision for Halloween. But I tried, and it did not go well. Can't wait. Okay, they're getting dressed up, guys. It's happening. We'll do a fashion show, Halloween fashion show.
Goat walk. It's
goat
the
walk.
catwalk.
On the goat walk. I know, right? It would have been so great to start then. I keep talking about it. It would have been a lot more interesting, I think. But honestly, the people...
Could hear it,
I'm
but
sorry.
honestly, I've been afraid of the people on YouTube.
He took my
She was
toy.
talking about when.
It really would have been something great. It wasn't internet when we started homesteading. Oh, really, Pathways? That's awesome. Why did you take my sticky?
That was right next to the comments.
Now I'm just
trying
going
to read
to
the comments.
I'm just going
your
to
hand.
do this now. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well then, well, Pathways, if you've been homesteading that long, for some of us newer homesteaders, so newer, we've been doing this for about 10 years, 11 years now, 10 years. So there's still a lot of things that we're learning all the time. If you, as a much more experienced and wise homesteader, what would be one of the things that
we were fortunate. We grew up on a farm.
We did grow up around it, but for like those starting out, or somebody that's like, I want a homestead, but they're confused. What would be some advice you might give them?
Mm-hmm.
I finally got that question out, by the way, after about 30 minutes of rambling to get to it. Farmstead's got my back with these likes. I just get to rambling and then I can't handle it anymore. So we've got that question out to Pathways Homestead on advice. So what would be like the number one costume you guys would watch a goat run around in? Like a unicorn, because like I love unicorns and dragons and dinosaurs.
Yeah. The dragon one would work.
The dragon
I think
one
we
would be
have a
cute.
leftover dragon costume from Joe.
Yeah.
Let's make it fit a goat.
Yeah. Joe always wanted me to make her costumes.
Ashley usually made the costumes too.
Yeah.
So
And tutus are super easy to make, so tutus are
I know
like...
she's on the Walking
A bee!
Dead.
Yes, a bee! A goat bee. I
There
like
you
that,
go.
yeah.
I don't know, Joe's in the Walking Dead.
She is
maybe
super
goat
in the
zombies.
Walking Dead. How would you do that?
I don't know. We could figure it out. Zombie goats.
Zombie goats. Together it started in 1994.
Wow.
Man.
A lot of experience.
That is a lot of experience.
That's
A lot of it. Hi, Joe. We're still going. Are you going to bed, dear?
Yeah, I'm going
You can
to
come
bed.
here. Can you give us a good night huggies
Hey.
and kisses?
They're asking what would be a good Halloween costume for goats. What do you think?
For goats,
Get back over here.
Yeah, so they can see you.
Oh.
See your cute little face.
I don't know what I'd
They had a vote for a
do.
bee. A bee
A
would be
bee?
good, wouldn't it? We could have a
Yeah.
whole hive with all the bees we got. I
A
said
bear?
maybe
Can we
zombie
just-
goats. I mean,
Yes, I love that one. Because I want to be.
as long as it's not clowns. I don't like clowns. So.
I put a
I'm
Santa
scared
hat
of this.
Sassy.
Pennywise.
Yeah, no.
Oh, Sassy was a Santa and
Aw.
Stuart was out. So cute. That's so cute. I tried with my goats. They were really scared of me for a while after that. I don't know if I can do that. A pumpkin, obviously we would have to have like a pumpkin or like a sunflower. A bee. One could be a beekeeper. We could put like a beekeeping net over its. That scene started them running from the
Yeah.
wreaths. They're like, this edible stuff is wrapped around our neck,
Yeah.
and what sorcery is this? It's not edible. So, yeah. Hey, Isaac, how are you? How are your guardian donkeys doing? Take homesteading seriously, like it's a job. We both grew up on farms and homesteads. That's a really good piece of advice.
Yep.
That is a really good piece of advice. Because it is like a job. Because you are dedicated to it. Like,
I think
all
that's
the time.
a good point because, like, you know, you want to sometimes during the week just settle in and be like, you know, I'm gonna rest tonight and stuff. But then jobs keep
Those chores
building
are still
up.
there.
Yeah, and the list keeps growing. So it's like a job. You just gotta go out and do it sometimes. You know.
Yeah. When you're sick.
Yeah.
Or
like when the goat may go into labor and you're up 5 times a night. That's her. I stay up late and I'll check sometimes up to that point, but then after I go to sleep, I'm gone.
If it happens like late at night and I know better than the wake, I don't wake them up unless it's like I need to get to a vet and I need someone to drive while I'm holding this goat. Or I need someone to hold the goat because I need to go in and reposition a baby. But most of the time I'll just text him and be like, we have 2 healthy baby goats on the ground. And then I come back in like a half hour later. So, yeah.
Yep.
Young Thor and Loki. We named 2 goats last year, Thor and Loki. They were brothers.
Yes.
Yep.
Dress the donkey up as a lion. I love it.
That'd be cool.
I love it. It took a while to get Stuart to wear the hat. Sassy is such a love and so easygoing. Oh, rubbed his head on my doorstep so hard. Oh, that's not good. Oh, Lord. All right, guys. I think you've given us a lot of really good ideas on this Halloween extravaganza for the goats. They might not be appreciative, but I sure am. But it is this little one's bedtime, and he still has to get up for work. I have to take her to a dentist appointment tomorrow. And who doesn't love going to the dentist?
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. But I think we're going to sign off, guys. I really appreciate everybody that's been here and stuck it out. Farmstead, you've been here from like the beginning.
Yeah.
So thank you. We're going to try to make this like a bi-weekly thing just so that we don't get too burnt out and we don't burn you guys out on what we've got going on here because it can get to be overwhelming sometimes.
You gotta go out and work on things.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's why we're doing this at dark.
Yeah.
So until next time, guys, thanks for being with us. We're going to catch you in the next one.
Have a great night, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ah!
Taking my business.
I always...